Next, Blake.
Let's just run through Florida and Charlotte real quick because I think this is another one that should be in the favor of the SEC team here. I mean, look, I think it's just what I mean. Florida just came off the biggest win in however long, right? And that was just a significant win for their psyche, everything else. But they're 4 touchdown favorites here against Charlotte, and I just think it's. I'm always curious after a game like that because we can all just kind of make the statement, right? Like this is the game that changes the program. And I would like to see Florida come out and just kind of, all right, all that no confidence after the Utah game. Now our confidence is back. We know we got talent. We know we can, play with and we can beat a team like Tennessee the way we did. I know the series history and everything was in their favor, but they won the game. Tennessee didn't lose the game. Florida won the game. And so I think this is a team you should beat. Don't give anyone any reason to kind of, Florida wins this game by a touchdown or something, and all of a sudden you start to backtrack a little bit. I'd like to see kind of that mentality, which I think they'll have coming into this one. All right, we know we can be a team. We're a top 25 team as of right now, and I think this is what you want to see them kind of prove that in a game against a team like I said they should beat by multiple touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I can't agree more, Blake. And, what I want to see is I want to look up at the end of the first quarter or halftime and Tennessee be up by 14, 21, 28. I don't want to look up and see Florida, messing around. It's a 7-point game, 3-point game at the end of the first, at the end of the second. They need to establish themselves as that Tennessee game. I'm not saying it was a fluke, but they need to establish themselves, as you said, as a top 25 program. We talked about that Tennessee game being a must-win for Billy Napier and the Gators. It was an absolute must-win for him as a coach, but also as the psyche, as the team. If they can beat Charlotte this weekend, it'll be Florida's first 3-game win streak in 3 years.
Wow.
And so that just goes to show you what this program's been the past 3. I mean, the Florida Gators, their first 3-game win streak in 3 years. And look, the people in Gainesville love their Florida football, man. This a home game against Charlotte. They're a 27.5-point favorite. The Swamp is sold out. And so people are on board. People are on board. That's why it was such a must-win game for Florida last week against Tennessee. And so, like I said, what I need to see is to prove to all those fans that are sitting in every single seat in that stadium that wasn't just a night that we played well. That's the exact team that we're going to be moving forward this year. And if they can establish that and they can get their fans on board for the season and the confidence starts rolling in the locker room, I think they're going to win some games that maybe at the beginning of the year we thought weren't possible.
A couple of notes on this game. You had that big brawl between Tennessee and Florida, or whatever you want to call it, altercation at the end of that one. That resulted in suspensions. By the way, Tennessee had some. I meant to mention that. Gavin also didn't mean to shut you out of the predictions on that one. We'll get you in this one too. So that was unintentional. But Florida suspensions reminded me Tennessee's got some too. But Florida's got Damian George, Michael Mazkua, and tight end Dante Sanders suspended. That's the right side of their offensive line. That's for the first half of the game, not the whole game. So might you see Florida come out a little sluggish? Sure. But between beating, a hated rival and the biggest win for Billy Napier, in my opinion, and then, oh, by the way, Florida's got Kentucky next week. So I could see Florida starting slowly in this one for 3 or 4 reasons we could name before they've even teed up the ball.
Maybe. I hope not, because I think if you want to really fully buy into this team, I still think, even with the guys that aren't in there, I think Florida should win this game convincingly.
That's how I feel, Blake. And as a player on the sideline, you can feel it. Obviously, there's momentum behind the program right now. And man, think about the whirlwind of college football. Like 3 weeks ago, we were just talking about this loss to Utah, and we were so disappointed and talking about all this. And now we're talking about confidence and momentum behind Florida. That's the up and down and the roller coaster ride of the college football season, y'all. That's what it is. And if you think it's a ride for you fans, imagine how it is as a player in the locker room with the pads on. I mean, it's an absolute, mind game, and you have to stay forward with it. So yeah, they need to come out and establish themselves early. When you can tell when you're out there and you're kind of messing around, and finally someone at the end of the first quarter, midway through the second, kind of snaps you into place, and then you run away with the game. I don't want to see that. I want to see them come out and throw haymakers right away, and it be 14-0, it be 21-3, it be 28-3 at halftime, whatever it may be. I want to see Florida establish themselves in front of all their fans, obviously, but I also want to see it, as a bystander and a civilian. I want to see Florida dominant. Florida's fun when they're dominant. They really are.
Yeah. A few things on Charlotte, coached by Biff Poggi. I think the only football coach in the FBS named Biff. Also a former CEO, interestingly enough. So he's got some business experience. Been in coaching for a while, though. 3 games for Charlotte so far. The 49ers have, beaten South Carolina State 24-3 the opener, lost to Maryland 38-20 in the next week, and then lost 41-25 to Georgia State. Now, Maryland's a good team. Georgia State's one of those kind of tougher group of 5 teams. You've seen some SEC teams find that out the hard way at times. Won't name names, but anyway. So there's that. But I look inside the matchup. Is there anything here that Charlotte can do that's problematic for Florida? Nothing's really jumping out. Problem for Charlotte's turned it over on offense, 3.3% of snaps. Although Florida's not really forcing any turnovers so far, less than 1% of snaps. And Charlotte giving up 8.5 yards per passing play. You saw Graham Mertz take a little bit of a leap last week, not really great against the run either, 4.6 yards a running play. I think Florida's going to try to just run with Trevor Etienne. And I just don't see anything here on paper that would make you think Charlotte is going to give this a game. The line is 28. FPI has got Florida by 27, SP plus Florida by 36, Sagarin by 27. So I'll take the Gators big. Maybe they don't cover the number because, again, what they just did, what's coming up, the suspensions to start the game. But I don't have any reservations about Florida taking care of business. Of you, Gavin, since we shut you out of the last one, let's get your final take on this one, and then we'll go to Blake.
Thank you, Chris. No, I think Florida wins big. I do, and as I said multiple times, I hope that they don't come out the gate sleepwalking. Especially, we've seen it with previous teams. Texas gets the big win against Alabama. It's like 10-10 at the end of the third quarter against Wyoming. They need to establish themselves early and win this thing. No, I got the Gators big, and I actually do think they'll cover as well. I think they'll win by about 28 plus.
Gators. On to the next one.